And it says we're live. So we have the start of today's stream, September the 13th, Thursday, 2018. That was kind of all mixed up, but I don't care. Let's see what we have going on here. Let's look at today's news to start out with, as we always do. As we want to see the headlines of the day. Uh, do, do, do. Fox News host blasts Trump for distasteful remarks on Puerto Rico. A panel on the Fox News show Outnumbered criticized Donald Trump Thursday for denying the hurricanes last fall resulted in the numbers it did. do, do. 6 dead, including gunmen in Bakersfield, California shooting spree. Let's see what else is going on. Well, Florida construction worker unearths possible mammoth bone. I don't normally like to consider Fox News, but that's interesting. And why are these Fox News? First page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 in a row. Fox News, 5 out of 6, and they say groups like Fox News don't get credit on social media on web searches like other sites do. It gets overfilled with them. Let's see. What else is going on today? The country of Turkey bans the use of foreign currency in the property market. American jets intercept a Russian aircraft flying west of Alaska. As a matter of fact, American fighter jets intercepted 4 Russian military aircraft flying in international airspace west of Alaska this week. Students made to look black in French art school photo. College director Antoine Riviere said in an interview with French news magazine L'Express the college sent several photos to a U.S. Let's open that up. See what it says. Sent several photos to a U.S. PR company. Why do they do this kind of junk? Oh yeah, you can see how doctored it is. They show one photo and how it was doctored in the real photo. You can see where the darker faces are put in. Come on, guys. The U.S., let's see, to a U.S. communications firm to enhance the reputation of our school there. The image was changed without their knowledge, he says. My goodness. That's ridiculous. Let's see. Science of the day. What information do we have? Because we've done looked over the headlines. Do, do, do. Plants communicate distress using their own kind of nervous system. If Trump signs the bill into law, the Office of Science of the DOE, Department of Energy, would get a 5.2 spending boost. He don't believe in the science. He's one of the stupid. More information on Hurricane Florence. If you believe what you see here,
That's part of science, you dumb idiots.
fewer people trust science information in this digital age than ever before, and President Trump's advice is to disbelieve what we see or hear. Are science communicators chasing public attention? They shouldn't have to chase public attention. This is what's wrong. You believe this stupid, moronic stuff, but it's education and knowledgeable content that you're like, I don't believe in it. That just irks me. People like that need to get with a damn hammer. Today in history. History. Let's see what happened today on September the 13th. Francis Scott Key pins a Star Spangled Banner while he was aboard a prison ship, and they was bombing, originally titled the Defense of Fort McHenry. So yeah, it was at Fort McHenry. Got a hair in my mouth. All right. Today in 1993, Israel-Palestine peace accord signed in 1993. Of course, it didn't last. The problem is the country of Israel was forced in after Palestine already took over when Israel disappeared hundreds of years ago. It's like someone coming in and saying, hold on. We're going to just squeeze out these parts of Florida, Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Alabama and all these states here, just these parts, to reignite the Cherokee Nation after it's been gone for so many years. The place where it was. That's kind of how it feels. Uh, 1759, Britain victorious on the Plains of Abraham. And if you don't want to know 1759, it's not the Revolutionary War. That is the French and Indian War, or the 7 Years' War, whichever you prefer to call it. It's known by different names in different countries. I think in the U.S. it's the French and Indian War, and in Britain it's the 7 Years' War. On this day in 2004, Oprah gives away nearly 300 new cars. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. 276 in all. That's a lot. That's something, man. I'll tell you what. What else happened today in history? Today, in 1945, I don't know why they had that listed as Vietnam War. I guess it was the Vietnam War. British troops arrived to disarm the Japanese. You would think that would be World War II, but in accordance with the Potsdam Agreement, at the end of World War II, 5,000 British troops of the 20th Indian Division, commanded General Douglas Gracie, arrived in southern Indochina to disarm the defeated Japanese forces. In August, Ho Chi Minh and the Viet Minh had seized power. Okay, so it's at the end of World War II, start of the whole calamity in Vietnam. Because you have suddenly Ho Chi Minh in control of Vietnam. Also, this day in 1964, once again, Vietnam War. An attempted coup against the Con government fails. Today, in 1936, in sports, pitcher Bob Feller strikes out 17 batters at age 17. He was a 17-year-old Cleveland Indians pitching ace. Robert Feller strikes out 17 batters in a game, setting a new American League record. Feller allowed just 2 hits in the game to help his team to a 5-2 victory of the Philadelphia A's. Let's see. This day in 1847, General Winfield Scott storms the Chapultepec fortress. On this day in 1847, General Winfield Scott wins the last major battle of the Mexican-American War, storming the ancient Chapultepec fortress at the edge of Mexico City. The war between the U.S. and its southern neighbor began in the year before, when President James Polk ordered blah, 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 blah. Read more. On this day in 1996, Tupac Shakur dies. I remember it a few days ago reading about him being shot, so yeah, maybe it was yesterday. But yeah, he died of his gunshot wounds on this day in 1996. I remember that. Shortly after, I think it was a year after or so, year and a half, Biggie died. I remember the death of Kurt Cobain. Those were the cultural moments for me, I guess, because I was a teen in that era. I was 13 when Cobain was shot, 12, 13. And 96, yeah, 16-year-old. So yeah, those were big moments. I was alive during both. It happened on the other end of the country, though. Now, we've kind of went over the headlines. Today's headlines, today in science, today in history. No need to go over really sports today. Not too much going on. Because, like I said, it's still preseason in hockey. I don't think basketball's even started yet. And there's no games played midweek in football. Baseball, they're at the last month before the playoffs. So might as well wait till later in the month before we really go into baseball. But yeah, today we are going to talk about this book, Southern Horrors and Other Writings. And it's not like a book of horrors, but it's like stories of the South. And this one, the anti-lynching campaign of Ida B. Wells from 1892 to 1900. We'll kind of talk about that in a moment. One thing I do want to mention, though, I kind of wanted to get into this because yesterday I did talk about Lincoln Knights and Rebels, and what was the other book? Oh yeah, the Hatfield McCoy. If you just kind of explaining, not everybody owned slaves, not everybody wanted to secede. So I kind of want people to understand, not everybody's, though it may seem that sometimes, not everybody's racist. But there are issues, and that's what we're going to kind of go over today. There are severe issues. Like, for example, Childish Gambino's video a few months back, This is America. Great portrayal of what happens here in the U.S. This is America. Here we go. Here's a set of lyrics. Yeah, 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 yeah. He goes on and we just want to party just for you. We just want the money, money just for you. I know you want to party just for me. Girl, you got me dancing. Yeah, girl, you got me dancing. Dance and shake the frame. We just want to party, yeah. Party just for you, yeah. We just uh, want the money, yeah. Money just for you, you. I know you want to party, yeah. Party just for me, yeah. Girl, you got me dancing, yeah. Girl, you got me dancing. Dance and shake the frame, you. And then he goes on to the chorus. This is America. Don't catch you slipping up. Don't get you slipping up. Look what I'm whipping up. This is America. Whoo. And so the first bit of lyrics, hey, it's just want to party, just wants to dance. He's the entertainer. That's all some people in America see African Americans good for. Oh, they're just good for sports. Oh, they're just good for dancing, entertaining. You know, when you think of African American, well, famous African Americans, who do you think of? Athletes, music, movies. You don't think of too many businessmen, too many doctors. They've got to be that entertainer. That's the only way it seems like they're going to get any money, any success in this country. And then the next portion is this is America. Don't catch you slipping up. Look at how I'm living now. Please be tripping now. This is America. Guns in my area. I got the strap. I gotta carry 'em. Yeah, yeah. I'm going into this. Yeah, yeah. This is gorilla. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go get the bag. Yeah, yeah. Or get the pad. Yeah, yeah. I'm so cold like yeah. I'm so dope like yeah. We're gonna blow like yeah. So very different from the first set of verses, which is, oh, it's all about the party, yeah, yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's a little more of a peek into the seriousness of everyday life. You know, they've got to carry the strap, they're worried about their life. And it's a sad thing. It is that it's been reduced to this. They have to worry. I've been catching up on a lot of my YouTube videos, but one of the channels I subscribe to is Jordan Cheriton, which if you haven't watched them, watch them. A lot of great independent news reports. But I'm having to catch up from a while back, and he's talking about the violence in Chicago, and the ones I'm kind of watching, and they talk about the death of Augustus Snoot Harris, and there was this one kid, Laquan Anderson. I'm thinking I may have that wrong. Shot 16 times in the back, and it was covered up. 16 times. The next bit of this, it goes, oh, tell somebody. You gotta tell somebody. Grandma told me, get your money, black man. 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 Black man. This is America. Don't catch you slipping up. Don't get you slipping up. Look at what I'm whipping up. This is America. So we go back into the choruses. Yeah, like I just read there. And it's a difference between you've got to fight to survive, but you've got to live. You've got to show you're not a threat. And how can you do that when you've got some people feel they've got to have weapons on them to survive? They got to fight to survive. The next chorus goes, look how I'm geeking out. I'm so fitted. I'm on Gucci. I'm so pretty. I'm going to get it. Watch the move. This is a Selly. That's a tool. Which is I'm going to interrupt here, which is a great point. Talking about all the cell phones out. People filming the abuse going on. Oh, my Kodak. Oh, no, that. Get it? Oh, work it. 100 bands, 100 bands, 100 bands. Contraband, contraband, contraband. I got the plug on Osaka. They gonna find you like Blanca. But yeah, the rest of it's some chorus lines. Now, if you've ever seen the video, you know the images that go with this. And it does very well with the actual lines. It speaks very solidly to the situation that goes on. And it's just it's shameful that so many people have to die for having a different ethnicity, a different skin color. It's just as bad as when, you know, the Irish were coming over, the Germans were coming over, and many Americans are like, we don't need you here. Hate is an easy tool for the rich to use. And I feel a big part of this is the rich. Not all of it, but a big part of this is because it's easier to divide the poor when they have something else to focus their hate upon. It's easier to divide the middle class, the working class, when they have something else to focus their hate upon. And it keeps what should be focused on, the rich, from being focused on. So I feel part of this is from the rich. Part of it is just plain old fear and lack of education. I mean, I hate for anybody to be bussed anywhere, but I feel there's a lot of whites and Latinos and Asians that need to be bused and blacks be bused to various communities every few months to learn what it's like to live with other people. I'd hate for that society to have to exist, but that's what it kind of feels like is needed because we're so trapped in our own little bubbles. Part of it is redlining, They try to redline minorities into certain groups. But yeah. Now, I mentioned This Is America, but there's another song I want to mention. Strange Fruit. And this is an older song. If you've never heard it, that's probably why. It's a very short one. So let me read you the lyrics. Southern trees bear strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scene of the gallant South, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth. Scent of magnolias, sweet and fresh, then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here is fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the trees to drop. Here is a strange and bitter crop. And of course, you can find renditions done by Nina Simone or Billie Holiday. And of course, the song is about hangings of African Americans in the South. You know, the lynchings that used to go on. And to a lesser extent, still do. They still happen from time to time. Unfortunately, there's still those that deem it all right to kill another human being because of something, their color of their skin or their ethnicity. I'm not one of those. I live in the South. I believe each person is a human to themselves. That you should be given that credit. Unfortunately, there's some people with such a lack of education or so filled with hate. It bothers me. But I kind of wanted to talk about those as kind of an introduction to the book we're going to talk about, Southern Horrors and Other Writings by Ida B. Wells. So, Ida B. Wells was a teacher and an activist. Yeah. Here's a picture of her from around 1887. And it says, at the time of the photograph, Wells was teaching in the Memphis, Tennessee public schools and writing a weekly column for The Living Way. So, very educated woman, and very aware, because unfortunately at that point you kind of have to be. At that point, you know, the Civil War ended in 65 and there still were raiding gangs. And as an African American, you had to be very aware. You still have to be aware today, unfortunately, because there's still the stupid out there. It's unfortunately a disease that we can't seem to shake. The stupid. But I figured we'll talk a little bit about this. It's a very short book, 206 pages. I'm not going to read it. That'd still take a while. But part one, it covers kind of a introduction, equity and justice for all. It talks about lynching and Reconstruction, Wells and the American agenda, and then the case according to Wells. And then part two is the documents by Ida Wells. You have the Southern Horrors, lynch law in all its phases, a red record, and mob rule in New Orleans. And this is all kind of covered in the book. They even have a yearly record of the lynchings that went on. Negroes murdered by mobs from 1892 to 1899. Make it a little more visible. There we go. Move my finger. But yeah. So you can kind of see. And it's a good book for a lot of historical documentation, especially in this one area of history. Justice dealt out to folks who talk too much. All the Negroes and the whites who were arrested in the vicinity of Tuesday's tragedy had a hard time before Recorder Hughes yesterday. Lee Jackson was the first prisoner, and the evidence established that he made his way to the vicinity of the crime and told his Negro friends that he thought a good many more policemen ought to be killed. Jackson said he was drunk when he made the remark. He was fined $25 or 30 days. John Kennedy was found wandering about the street Tuesday with an open razor in his hand, and he was given a $25 or 30. He was given a $25 fine or 30 days. Edward McCarthy, a white man who arrived only 4 days since from New York, went out to the scene of the excitement at the corner of 3rd and Rampart Streets and told the Negroes that they were as good as any white men. The remark was made by McCarthy, as another white man said the Negroes should be lynched. McCarthy told the recorder that he considered a Negro as good as a white in body and soul. He was fined $25 or 30 days. James Martin, Simon Montague, and Eddie McCall, Alex Washington, and Henry Turner were up for failing to move on. Martin proved that he was at the scene to assist the police and was discharged. Montague was being a cripple, was also released, but the others were fined $25 or 30 days each. Eddie Williams, for refusing to move on, was given $25 or 30 days. And Matilda Gamble was arrested by the police for saying that 2 officers were killed and it was a pity more were not shot. She was fined $25 or 30 days. The more things change, the more they stay the same. But, like I said, if you want an interesting little book to read, it's not too big. It's like like I said, a little over 200 pages. Pick it up. It's a nice historical account of the end of the 1800s, and you can see the view of uh, the U.S. through the eyes of an African American. And she kind of journeyed around the U.S. pushing against lynching. Advisory editors, Natalie Zeman Davis, she's got other history books out. That's a good one. Ernest R. May and David W. Blight. Pre-publication praise for Southern Horrors. No. Okay. From Darlene Clarks-Hine of Michigan State University. This edition of Wells' writings will greatly facilitate discussions about the nation and contours of race relations and the development of race and gender stereotypes. The introduction does a fine job of analyzing and presenting the complex character of race and gender relations in the Jim Crow South. And then Clarence Walker of the University of California, Davis writes, this volume will find a warm welcome in the 19th century American and African American history courses, as well as women's study courses. Royster's splendid introduction skillfully places Wells' work within the context of post-bellum race relations and changing ideas about womanhood. So yeah, not only does it deal with African American history, it's also from an African American woman. So it's a bit of women's history in the U.S. This was before they had the right to vote. Everything. So the Civil War, it ended not too, 25 years before. So about 25, 30 years after the Civil War. And a tale of African Americans and women in the U.S. from the eyes of Ida B. Wells. Definitely one you should pick up. I recommend it. There's a lot of historical documentation you can find, even though, like I said, it's only about yay big. It's a little over 200 pages. But I guess that's all I really wanted to talk about today. I didn't. It's only at 44 minutes and some, so it isn't too hefty of a video. But I didn't want it with such a topic as racism. I didn't want it to be too heavy. Guys, gals, everyone, I do love you and I do think about you. You're people that are to be kept in everyone's thoughts, no matter how you may feel. I'm sure there always are other people who do care about you, no matter what you may think. So I just want to say that. And educate thyself. Read, study, learn. Um, and I guess that's it. We'll do another live stream tomorrow. And then we'll take the weekend off because I don't do anything on the weekends except try. I need to start getting more information down. And later.